Ha! I'm Derek Moneyberg, and you're not. I'm here with Carla Esparza. Carla is a multi-time champion at UFC. You have a really unique story that you won your first belt, you won your first championship some time ago, and then you had 8-9 years in between?
Yeah, about 8 years. I think the previous record was 4 years, and I came back after 8 and regained it.
All right, gangster. Another record for you. Another record, future Hall of Famer. I was at your fight when you won your second championship. I was super excited for you. I was in the front row. And happy to have you over here. So Carla's been shooting some low wrestling shots on my legs, trying to topple me and embarrass and humiliate me to the best of her abilities, and her abilities are quite high. So, I think a couple things that we would talk about together that you share with the audience. You and I were chatting earlier about, looking pretty versus having pretty results, and as pretty as I am, I think about my results all the time, that like, I don't need to say, oh, do we have to dress up for the call or something? It's like, no, I want them to see, like, we just left the gym. And when we're done, we're going to have a little snack and we're going to go back to the gym. And, people that would, occasionally somebody will have like a criticism of me online. They'll be like, you don't look like a very successful business guy. You don't even wear a suit. Many of my clients come to me because they do wear suits. And they don't want to have to go to their job and wear a suit. They don't want to be an attorney anymore. They don't want to be an investment banker and a consultant, or have to, put their little clown suit on and pretend to be somebody they're not and put a fake smile on their face. And it's quite the opposite of, what an average person might think success looks like, or the process of creating success. A lot of times the process isn't pretty. If you want pretty results, the process isn't necessarily pretty to get there. You have some thoughts or life stories you would share around that thought?
Yeah, most definitely. I agree on that note. I mean, sometimes getting results isn't pretty. You just got to do what you got to do to make it happen. And then I think once you reach that success, like you were saying, it's kind of like having the freedom to dress the way you want and to do things the way that you want them is like the highest form of freedom, because you're not there to fit some sort of standard, what people think you should look like, or what people think you should do. You're on your own time.
I think that, yeah, well said. I've said many times, like the greatest gift that money can buy you is you don't have to spend time with people that you don't want to, or you don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. And you kind of just touched on that.
Yeah, you don't have to be places where you don't want to be. You don't have to, like you said, be around the people you don't want to be. You don't have to do the things that you don't want to do. And, obviously it takes a certain level of, like, you have to do things to get success, but you don't have to, like, you can pick and choose what you want to do, but you can pick and choose your clients. You can pick and choose the people you're around.
I think that's really valuable. I think it's invaluable. I always thought of money as not like, money. Well, money means freedom. Money equals your freedom to live your life how you want to. And I think your time is your most valuable asset. I don't know anybody who is, significantly financially successful that really values money more than they value their time. Everybody cares about money, and the richest people in the world didn't get there because they didn't care about money. And, Warren Buffett is 95, and he's still thinking about the stock market and what to invest in.
But that's because he wants to do that, right? He's put it, I like to work, I like to make money, I like the challenge.
His business partner was a man from, who lived in Southern California. His name was Charlie Munger. Charlie passed away about 5 weeks before his 100th birthday. He almost made it to 100. And there's an interview with him from, I think he was 98 years old, and he was buying a lot of Alibaba stock. And maybe on CNBC, I don't recall it, but the business person interviewing him is like, Charlie, you're taking a large position in this thing, at your age, like, what are your thoughts about that? And he's like, I think it's going to do really good in the next 15 years. He's 98. I think he's going to do really good in the next 15 years. So that's a good exemplification of, these are people who are living their life the way they want to. And it's almost a joke, it's almost a joke that he's probably not going to be there at 113, and I doubt that he thought that. He said it, but you have a lot of freedom to do the things you want to do. I think it's great. What does some of that process look like for you to achieve the successes that you have? That I would think for sure you'll be in the Hall of Fame, multi-time world champion, pioneer in a new and growing sport. You were training for something that didn't even exist when you started training for it. There wasn't like a serious women's MMA league, or women weren't allowed at the UFC at the time that you started training.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many things, in my sport that can bring you success, but there's no quick, easy pill to make success happen. It's all of the kind of the boring things, right? Just showing up, being professional, doing the things that are hard, making your weaknesses your strengths. Just listening to people that are smarter than you and seeing people that are successful and just kind of okay, this is their path to success. And, obviously sometimes you have to make things your own and make adjustments, what works best for you and find your own path. But, I think surrounding yourself with people that are at a higher level and people that are successful is really important.
I think it's like the great shortcut in life. If you made the effort to earn the attention of a high-quality coach, mentor, teacher, and then you actually had the sense to follow their instructions, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. And I think, from a coach's perspective, if somebody's, late and they're not showing that extra effort and they're not showing that passion and drive to want to be successful, why do they want to help you? You have to show that you want it more than they do. And I think from the outsider's perspective, they're yeah, I want to help this person be successful because they want it, more than I do.
I heard some fighters only train 3-4 hours a day. Poor things. The clients that know me best know there were, a lot of the fighters say we put in long hours and stay late at night, and sometimes the sun's coming up, and usually that's a cue. Is all right, we should have a little snack and go to bed now. But yeah, Jake is that way. Frank Mir is that way. A few other people that come over will be up, very late, and I still got to be awake, for the stock market, and I still got to be awake to do the next things tomorrow. But for a person who's not willing to make, to your point, for a person who's not willing to make the extra effort, the best people in the world aren't going to help you if you're not trying to help yourself. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, most definitely. It's you're going to get out what you put into it, and other people are going to see that too, for sure.
I think another good one you touched on is the value of doing boring things repetitively. That's a common theme that I talk about with them. That I'm not a very trendy person. I don't really care about the new trendy thing. A lot of people seem obsessed about that. Whatever the new trendy thing is somehow going to be mystical and magical and the solution to all their problems. And I'm kind of boring that way, where I think, well, probably this that's been working for the last couple thousand years, I probably should learn that first. There's probably some principles of wrestling that applied 2,500 years ago, and they still apply today. And it's maybe more valuable to know that before I learn the new trendy thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the same across many things in life. I mean, learning the fundamentals and becoming excellent at the basics, I think, can be the most important thing you can do, because everyone wants to be flashy. Everyone wants this new trendy thing or this quick fix. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is going to be the next thing. And like you said, am I going to be with something that has proven through the test of time that it's going to bring me success, and I'm going to be excellent at those things? And maybe I'll throw a couple of, fun, interesting things here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to stick to my fundamentals.
I think people get themselves in a lot of trouble when they don't want to do that. I've always just looked at it. You and I had this conversation in the purple car the other day when we were coming from the airport, that the willingness to do those, the boring things repetitively gets you results. If you want to have durable results, You have to do things that other people, the way I say it to make it memorable is that you have to do things that other people are too stupid or too lazy to do. And if you can solve problems that other people can't, valuable problems, not random, we're not doing random shit, If you engage in an endeavor that you'll be well rewarded if you're successful and you're able to solve problems that other people are either too lazy or not intelligent enough to solve those problems, perhaps both, maybe they're lazy and dumb, you're going to have better outcomes than those people. So I always looked at it as like an investment rather than like a sacrifice. Some people say that word sacrifice, and I'm like, well, I'm making an investment in my future when I choose to engage in a behavior. That's why I'll stay up late and do the things. And I don't always want to. A lot of times I don't, but I do a lot of things I don't want to do. I'm sure you've done plenty of things in your life for your career that you're like, well, if I want to be a champion, this is what's going to be next. I have to do more than the others.
Yeah, most definitely. You actually changed my mindset with that. A while back, you mentioned that to me because I was like, oh, I'm making these sacrifices, for this and that. And you're like, I don't like to use that word. I like to use, investment. And, the way I look at it is, for me, I like to have gratitude in that moment. It's like, I get to be here and have that opportunity to bring myself more success and to, just like, even to have that ability it is a blessing.
The gratitude thing, this is a good one to talk about too. Thank you. It's very hard to be, it's impossible. I'm just going to say for, easy talk, but maybe there's a counterpoint, and type it in the comments if you can think of one, folks. But if you have a mindset of gratitude, it's about impossible to be depressed or anxious or to be in a negative emotion at the same time, If you could refocus on your brain of like, all right, where's the opportunity here? Or what are the elements of this circumstance that I could be grateful for? And you might be tired, and you might be injured, and you might have a whole lot of other excuses. Nobody cares about your excuses. And my audience is mostly men, and the world is going to be extraordinarily unforgiving about your excuses. That maybe when you're a little boy or you're a little teenager, then somebody say, oh, he's got so much potential. Oh, so much potential. There's a moment in life, it's your 30th birthday. And on your 30th birthday, nobody's talking about your potential anymore. And for men, that's extraordinarily, it's true for both. It's true for both, but nobody's talking about a man's potential that like, you either did some shit already, you did something, and you've earned something in the world, and you're on your way to earn more. Or you're pretty much ignored, you're pretty much ignored in life.
Statistically speaking, you're not likely to catapult into success if you haven't proven that standard by that time.
Yeah. I don't hear anybody, after I turned 30, nobody talked about my potential.
Yeah. Unless you're doing something incredibly different, you're not going to get different results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Einstein, that was Einstein's definition of insanity is, repetitively engaging in the same behavior while anticipating a different outcome. So if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome, Einstein thought that was the behavior of an insane person. I think that makes sense.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.